Today I'm going to show you how to build this very simple, beautiful wine rack that looks perfect in your kitchen or your dining room. And all you're going to need is just a few tools and a few materials. So if you like what you see, make sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that like button. Let's get started. Everything in this video, all the cuts and stuff, I will make sure I put up on the screen and in the description so you can go back to and refer. So the first piece of materials we're going to cut is the 1x2. You're going to want to cut two pieces at 20 inches. Alright, then you're going to want to cut your 1x4. You're going to need to cut 4 28-inch pieces. Alright, so now you're going to need to cut 3 pieces at 9 inches. Alright, now you're going to want to cut 4 3/4 pieces. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to cut 2 10-inch pieces. I already have this one marked, I'm just going to double check it. There's one. Alright, so now you want to grab, I just grab whatever scrap piece is small. And you're going to cut 3 1/2-inch pieces. Right here, this one's already marked. That's good. Cut 3 of those. Alright, so then you're going to grab your 1x2 and you're going to cut 2 3.5-inch pieces. Alright, so I already have this after my leftover from my scraps. This is 3.5 inches long and 3.5 inches wide. Alright, so first you're going to need the 2 1x2s that we cut at 20 inches. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to space them 24 inches apart, so 2 feet. How we're going to mount this is actually we're going to drill a hole in each one of these and then we're going to screw it straight into the wall studs. So most houses are 24 on center, so that's why I put them at 24 on center on these. So don't put 24 inches in between, don't put 24 inches on the outside, put 24 on center. Once we get it, roughly what we think is 24, we'll grab one of the 1x4s and then we'll mark the 1x4 so we can place them out evenly, and then from there we'll glue and brad nail them on. Alright, so like I said, we're going to space them 24 on center apart, or on center each, just right, and then just kind of eyeball center right there, about 1/4 of an inch off. So we'll just push one of them over and then we can center the 1x4 off of that here in a minute. Alright, so that's 24 on center. Alright, so when you're measuring to get your 2 inches from the side, you're not going to measure from this board to this board. You can measure actually, well you are, you can measure from this edge to the center of this to get your 2 inches to make sure that it is centered correctly. So go to the center of this board and then go to the edge on this, and that should help you. And you do the same on the other side, and that is correct. So what I like to do now, what I like to do is I like to just put a line next to the board. You can either do it actually on the back side, right here, to where you don't have to worry about sanding right here, or you can do just where I usually do, which is just right here. Just draw a line, and then draw a line right here and right here, so you can tell where you need to remount it when you get your glue and all that stuff set up. And I do the same on the other side. Just give you a rough estimate. And the bottom ones usually aren't too bad to find out, because you literally just line up this side with the bottom, so it's usually not too bad. But once you get started, I'll show you a little trick. So that's that, and then you can literally grab the rest of your 1x4s, get them lined up, get them flush. Make sure they're flush on both sides. And then get your speed square and mark them. So that way you already know, instead of laying down each board individually, where your boards need to lay. Save you a little bit of time. Time is money. Alright, so I'll put these over here now. So now what I need to do, pull this back a little bit, is I'm going to, so when I'm laying these out, the ones I just marked, they're marked right here, instead of putting the marks on the top, I'll put them on the bottom, so I can kind of see a little bit better what I'm working with. So we'll put this over here. And mark it top. I'm gonna put this one back down over here. So now I'm just kind of playing with it a little bit just to make sure it's straight before I go grab the glue and the brad nailer. Alright. And then kind of eyeball square. So once we get going, we want to make sure it stays square. Alright, so that looks good. So mark this one. And the mark for this mark I'm doing right here is only just for me purpose, the purposes for putting the glue on. So that way the glue doesn't go past, and I have to worry about sanding the glue off with these boards on, because there's really only like 1.5 inch gap. That screwed it all up. There's really only 1.5 inch gap in between each board, roughly. Alright. So now what you want to do is get your glue. Alright, so now get your glue, put a small bead, oh shoot, it's kind of a big bead, put a small bead on either side, and then you're going to want to, I just use my finger, rub it in a little bit, spread it around, and then place the board on there, the 1x4, the first one, and then make sure it's aligned with all your lines, your marks that you made, the marks you made, and then from there, grab a brad nailer. Make sure you have, I use 1 inch brad nails, just because these are both 3/4 inch thick, and then nail it. So some people don't like nailing it straight into the faceboard, but since over here you're not going to see anything because the wine bottle is going to be right here all the way down. So me personally, I don't really worry about it too much. You can't see it, especially if you stain it, or sorry, especially if you paint it. You're not going to see nothing. Alright, then what I like to do is move down to the bottom one and do that. So the reason why I'm doing that is just to make sure that it stays square, which, let me kind of check it. Yeah, right now we're perfectly square on that one, and pretty close on that one, but I can, there we go. Square and square. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is put the bottom one on the same way we did the top one. These are the two easiest ones. Make sure, yep. Alright, get the glue. I already got it marked. Get the glue. Now you don't need to put too many nails on, too much glue, because this glue alone will. And then, just like the other one, make sure it's flush on the bottom again. Put your brad nail. Come over here and put this brad nail on quick, so it doesn't slide. That glue sometimes gets slippery. And then the brad nail in. Double check my square. Good. Good. Alright, now we've got the last two pieces. Alright, so now we got the last two pieces to do. We're gonna do this, lay them up kind of like that. Now, let me flip these. Like I said, I can flip them for the mark so I can see them where I'm working. This side looks better. This side looks better. Alright, so we're just kind of roughly gonna place them. So we're gonna place these on now. So what we need to do is we need to figure out how much spacing is in between each one. So we know this is 20 inches and each one of these is 3.5. So doing basic math, that's 7, 14. So we have 6 extra inches and we have 3 gaps. That evenly makes it to 2 inches in between each board. So quick math for you. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this tape measure, measure 2 inches on this one. So now we got these all placed good. Right here, you know, obviously we have these lines right here that we made earlier on these face boards. So we already know, since the two ends are, you know, nailed and glued, there's no moving these boards. So we have these 2 lines made up, so we already know how far that each one needs to be, and you can kind of just eyeball it, make sure they're good, and then make a quick mark down here, quick mark down here, and over here, like we did earlier. Put them up. Alright, so now you're going to put the glue on these ends, and what I have to do is I literally just go about 2 inches, so just like that, and like that. I don't want to go too much because I don't want it to stick out, because then I'll have trouble sanding in between, and then just kind of just move it around a little bit. So you don't need nothing too special. And then you grab one board at a time, place it along the line, both sides, make sure your other lines, your center lines are even, lay down, let it slide around a little bit because this wood glue is slippery. Get ready, buckle one, just put one in on either side first, hold it down, see how it's a little bit, not much. That's perfect, then you put the other 2. Just like that. And this one, do the same. Put it on the line, and then put the center lines even. Place it down, kind of move it around a little bit, get the wood glue worked in. And then hold it. It's hold it like this, it doesn't slide as much. Wood glue out there. So one more thing I wanted to mention real quick is if your wall studs in your house aren't 24 inches apart, or you know, on anybody's house, the person you're building it for, or whatever the case may be, I haven't done it, but you can personally just add one in the middle. Well, it wouldn't really be in the middle. You want it to be 16 inches apart, or whatever your wall stud is. So you can do that. I don't know if it'll look goofy, so don't judge me on that. I think it would probably actually look just fine. Nobody's really gonna pay that much attention to it. So, but my house is 24 inches on center, and this is just how I build them and sell them to people. So you can do how you want, tweak it how you want, figure out what works best for you, and then yeah. So we'll move on. We'll put this aside, and we'll move on and build the wine bottle holders and the wine glass holders. All right, so now we have the main piece done. We're gonna work on the wine glass holder, or not the wine glass holder, sorry, the wine bottle holders right now. What you're gonna need is your 3 9-inch pieces and your 3, 4, and your 3/4 inch pieces. Now, what you want to do first is you're going to want to find center on these. So, all right, so what you got to do is you got to mark 2 inches on going the long ways. You know, the 4 and 3/4 way, you got to mark 2 inches. So, and I'll explain why, just 2 inches and not actually half. All right, and then the other way, you're going to mark it half. So if we got 3 1/2, we're going to mark it 1 3/4. All right, right there. You're just going to cross these 2 lines so you kind of know where center is. All right, so now that we have these the centers marked on these, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our 1.5 inch bit and our drill, and then we're going to clamp these down and we're going to drill straight through them. All right, so now we have this, all 3 of these drilled out. What you could do is you can get a piece of sandpaper and lighten that up a little bit, get it a little more smooth if you like. But so I told you earlier, I'll tell you why this side is a little bigger and it's not centered going this way. It's because how we're going to join it. So we're going to get this piece, we're going to put it on here, and that extra 3/4 of an inch. You know how we have it 4 3/4. This is what it's going to make up for because this board right here is 3/4 of an inch thick. So how we're going to do that? Some wood glue right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just get this. I might need a little more wood glue than that. Hold on 1 second, just to be safe. Put a little extra on there, and then we're gonna get this. Just put it together. Get this brad nailer. Put 2 nails in there. And I just put them side by side. Flip it. Flip it, and then get this top one, and that's it. And then repeat that for the other 3, or the other 2. Sorry. All right, so now we have all 3 of these built. What we're going to do next is we're just going to set these aside and we're going to build the wine glass holder. All right, so you're going to grab. So here's your 2 1x2s. Your 3 1/2 inch cuts, and then your 3 1/2 by 3 1/2 piece. All right. So first thing you're going to do is find center. Now this is 10 inches, so obviously half of 10 is 5. Right. So now that we got that marked, what we're going to do, clean it up a little bit. Get the wood glue. Put a bead just right down the middle. And we're going to put this right there. Get the good old brad nailer, give it a couple nails. So now, when you're doing the brad nail, 2 top and bottom only, all right? You'll see why later. Top, scoot that back, and bottom, all right? Then you're gonna put a bead of glue on either ends, all right? Make sure they're flush. Alright, so now what you're going to want to do is you're going to put the end pieces on, alright? So these 2 1x2s are going to be the end pieces. They're going to go on flush on the edges just like this, alright? Just like so. Alright, so now, this is why I only put on the ends, alright? Because when we nail this, we're going to do 2 in the center. Now, last piece. Again, right down the center. So now this piece, since it's 3 1/2, you're going to want to fine centers. 3.5, half of 3.5 will be 1 3/4. All right. So 1 3/4, 1 3/4. Now you don't have to mark it that many times. You could really just eyeball it if you wanted to, but I like to make sure I keep the same spacing, especially if I'm building this for a customer. And I'll make sure that the marks on the bottom so I can see them. It's lined up down there, and it's lined up there. Make sure it's flush. And again, don't put it at the tops, put it in the kind of off-centered a little bit. Alright, so now we have this all nailed and glued together. What you can do is, if you didn't already, you can sand it down and then get everything ready for stain and paint, whichever one you prefer. Alright, so now we're going to start assembling everything. So what I like to do is I like to assemble, or put this on first. So, now the way you're going to do this is, if you're making 2 of these to where you can hold 4 wine glasses, you're going to want to mount it up here, up towards the top of this piece, alright? But if you're only doing like this one, we're only doing it for 2 glasses and monogram, whatever you want to call it. We're going to mount it towards the bottom, and then you're going to line this edge up with this edge of the piece, alright? So, once lay that down, and then this side looks nicer. So, go like this, make sure it's aligned, like so. Alright. Just like this, see how it's lined right here, it's lined on the bottom. You can do it just like partially anyway. Alright, trying to hold the camera and do this at the same time. So it's aligned just like that. So now what you're going to do is alright, so now you have it sitting where it needs to sit. You have the glue and everything on the back. This is where it gets tricky. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab the center, grab underneath this main piece, grab it, pull it up without letting it slide. And you're going to want to grab your brad nail and then kind of guess, sorry for the bad angle, but you're going to want to kind of eyeball, see where you're at, so you can at least get it hung. Right there. And roughly right there. Alright. So I got the 2 pieces in there, or the 2 nails in there right now. So now you can grab it, still being careful, of course. Flip it, don't put too much pressure on it. Hold it, just like I am holding the top here. And then you can kind of see on the bottom where you gotta nail it. Alright, so you can nail it right there, 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 and you can't really get to that one. That's the only downfall of this one. And then right there. Alright, so that's done. Now we're gonna mount these. So what I like to do with these is start with the bottom one. Alright, so now we have this piece on over here, the wine glass holder. We're gonna mount the wine bottle holders. Alright, so with this bottom piece, it's very simple. It's easy to get the reference going. So all you're going to do is you're going to line this bottom with this, alright? All you're going to do is just like that. Then what you're going to do, give it a quick mark right here and a quick mark down here. So you kind of know reference where to put it. Then get your glue and just kind of make a little L, and then should have marked up there. Well, there too. Alright. So set. Let's see. Place it just like that. Alright. Now, I usually just, since this is the last thing to do, I usually just put some weight on it or some clamps and let them sit instead of using brad nails, and then if you'd like to just add more support later, you can brad nail it. Alright, the next one. Alright, so with this one, all you're going to do is you're just going to dress it off this one, or you're just going to kind of line it up with this one. But over here, you're going to want this corner to go straight up with that one, alright? So you can get your tape measure and you're gonna measure right here. So it's 6 3/4 and 6 1/2. So you're just gonna tilt it. Tilt that 6 3/4 and 6 3/4. And you're gonna mark it. And I won't forget to mark it for this time. Mark it, mark it. All right. You can even do a little mark right here, a little mark right there, just so you know exactly where the glue's gotta go. All right. Shoot. Like so. Place it. Get any excess glue out of there. All right, so now we got the first two on, and they're both aligned. Same thing as the next one, except for this one, it's not gonna go quite as far. You want just like that. Okay, so that way the wine bottle, the neck should come out about right here, and then the glass will hang down right here. All right, same thing. Measuring. You want to keep it 6 3/4, just like the last one. You could even do 7 if you want to make it a little bit easier for you to remember. All right. 6 3/4 and 6 3/4. Mark it, mark it. And get your glue. And just like the last ones, place it, hold it, make sure it's all aligned, and boom. Alright. Then if you like, you can get your clamps, clamp them on, whatever you want to do, put some. Alright guys, so if you enjoy watching me build this wine rack, be sure to make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications so you can watch my future uploads, and smash that like button and help me out. Thank you.